welcome to our program. We're fresh out of the Olympic season, in which the Bahamas didn't do quite as well as we'd like, but we did have a participation, and that's the great thing about it. Now, there's one area where we've participated in before that we haven't, but I'm speaking with two young tennis players, one of whom is definitely getting ready for the pro circuit. I want to introduce you to Michael Major and Dentry Mortimer Jr. Welcome to Reid Between the Lines.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about your participation in tennis and where you are now in your move towards it.
Okay, so I started playing tennis at around 3 years old.
3?
Yeah, my dad put me in the sport at a very young age, and
you could actually lift the actual racket at 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Small ones. They are small ones for when you're small.
All right, go ahead.
But I've participated on numerous national teams, and recently I've just competed in Davis Cup, where I picked up my first win for the men's circuit for the country. And I am a member of the Howard men's tennis team, and I recently received Howard Newcomer of the Year. I got second team all conference, second for Rookie of the Year, and my team also made it to conference semifinals. So I'd say I'm on track, and my eyes are set on some pro tournaments this year.
That's kind of cool. You're at Howard University, a very good school. You pledging?
Coach said we can't.
It's probably a smart thing. And Dentry, well, you know, your father was a professional
yes,
player, but you don't have your eyes set on being a professional player just yet, huh?
No, sir. So with me, my journey is going to be kind of different. I just wanted to use tennis as basically a stepping stone to get to university, to get a degree. So I'll be enrolling at Coppin State University this year, which is Division I school, same conference as Howard, so we're in the MEAC conference. So it'll be a little bit of competition between me and MJ, maybe. You know, so we just want to go into the conference and just shine light on the Bahamas and just do the best we can.
That's great. Now, I'm glad that the Bahamas, well, we're still not where we should be as far as support for people in professional sports. But, I mean, we're right on the border of the United States. We all love basketball and baseball, and we can see what being a true professional sportsman can do for you, for your life. And then it requires for us a lot of discipline. So I want you both to talk to me about that. How difficult is it, even at this stage, to do the things that you have to do to be competent?
I mean, I'd say it's extremely difficult. Tennis is a pretty mental sport. Like, it's about, I would say, 80-20, 80 mental, 20 physical. Some people say 70-30, but it's definitely tough. I mean, tennis uses your whole body. You also have to use your head, obviously, to like calculate where you want to hit, where's the best option to hit as well. And I mean, for me, since I was younger, I mean, I've been trying to train like a professional so that when I do get older, it's a habit. So I would have gym at like 5 o'clock in the morning, practice, go about my day like a normal child would. And then, so now usually I'd train at 5 in the morning, go to the gym. Then I'd practice right after that for about 2 hours, go home, stretch, do whatever I need to do. I'd have my physio about once a week, and just make sure, honestly, it's just, the hard part is making sure that you take care of your body, because it's pretty easy to get injured. So you have to make sure you stretch and give your body the necessary nourishment to make sure that, hey, okay, I'm able to compete with these guys. Because I mean, when you try to go pro, like, these are guys that are bigger, stronger. Like, you have to make sure that your body is on par with them and that you're also able to compete.
Now, Dentry, you're using it as a tool for academic pursuits.
Yes, sir.
But still, you've got to take it seriously, the workouts,
Yes,
etc.
Yes, sir.
Are you training almost as much as someone who wants to be professional at this stage?
Most definitely. A lot of the training sessions that I'm just talking about, I've also accompanied him to the gym at 5 o'clock in the morning. So he knows how hard I work, I know how hard he works. So we have kind of the same work ethic, but I definitely say he's a harder worker than I am on most days. But I do put in a lot of work also.
But that's only while you were here in the Bahamas, right? Because you're in different states, right?
Yes, it is.
Where's your college in which
My
state?
college is in Maryland. So
not
yeah,
far.
We're not far,
So
but we
you're
are
in
in
the
different
same-
states. But
yeah.
I just graduated high school in June, so I was here whilst he was pursuing his first year at Howard. So being a high school student was kind of different for me because obviously I have more to be to school. So I recently graduated from St. Augustine's College. So basically what I was doing while I was in high school was I would go to the gym at around 5, finish at around 7:30, shower at the gym, go to school, go through my classes, and then I would practice again in the day from about 4 to 7. So basically I was doing around like 6 hours of training basically 4 days out of the week. So
you're already in college, but you're getting
ready to go. Yes.
How excited are you about that?
I'm really excited, especially to be in the same conference as one of my best friends, somebody I consider to be a brother, and especially to be playing against his team. It's really, I think it's going to be really fun and it's really competitive.
Yeah, I think it will be. Now, what drives you? Because obviously you require a lot of discipline, and not just discipline on one day or 2 days, but discipline every day. I'm going to get into a little bit more depth as we move on about what you actually do. And you told me some hours, but what you really have to do. Because I'm sure a lot of people say, man, I can do that, or they may have just some natural talent. But it takes more than just the talent by far, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
It takes the discipline on your part, and it takes the support of other people too.
Yes.
You're getting some insight into the professional circuit now?
Yes, so from I was around 14, 15 years old, because I got a scholarship to attend Windsor at Albany for tennis. So I was there from grade 10 to until I graduated. And a lot of pro tennis players have residency in the Bahamas because obviously it's tax-free. So their money, they keep a lot of their prize money because of that. And so a lot of them pass through and come and stay in the Bahamas, and usually they'd come down and train with my academy and me personally. So someone that I got a really close relationship with is Milos Raonic. He was number 3 in the world at one point. Some argue that he has the biggest serve in tennis history, and he was also in the finals of Wimbledon. And I've had the pleasure of knowing him for about 3 to 4 years now, and whatever I need, I could always message him. And I also know players like Taylor Townsend, Mark, obviously. And I mean, those.
We were talking about Mark Knowles.
Yeah, Mark Knowles. So I mean, to have people.
Who is probably still the greatest Bahamian, or the Bahamian tennis player who's achieved the most internationally.
Yeah, he is. And I mean, yeah, that definitely helps for sure.
Yeah. And what drives you, Dentry, other than the fact that you want to go to college? What do you want to study?
Oh, I'm majoring in accounting with a minor in computer science.
Well, that's interesting.
Yes.
You think about any ways in which I mean, I know you just started off, so you got a couple of years, but you're looking maybe at any ways that you could actually tie that into tennis.
Yes.
Maybe even be Michael's manager.
Exactly. Me and him joke about it all the time, and I said he'll be the one on the court, and I'll be the one taking care of all the funds, the prize money, stuff like that. Because I mean, why not? It's a good networking.
But that would be a great story too.
It would be. Yes.
10 years from now, I'd like to actually talk to you both about it. That'd be great.
But although I'm just playing to go to school, I have had some experience with some amateur tournaments, amateur pro tournaments. So I play guys who have professional tennis rankings who are around 300 in the world. So I still get somewhat of the experience because I'm still serious about my sport. I still care about being good, but my end goal is just different from Michael. So
you talk about 300 in the world, and people say, if you're not like one of the top seeds, but they don't understand how difficult that is to get even into the top 100, top 200, top 300. Huh?
Yes, so basically I played a guy who is right now, he's around 308 in the world, and he actually won junior Wimbledon.
Wow.
So he for sure swept me off the court. He was an older guy, but even he saw some of the potential I had during the match. He told me some stuff I could maybe work on, and he told me that I am a good competitor, and told me that he loved the way I just simply compete. And it was really respectable for an opponent of that caliber to compliment my game like that.
How does tennis make your academic performance better?
Well, tennis teaches you how to be disciplined. I think it really helps with critical thinking, really. So I think that being a tennis player has helped my academics tremendously for sure, because it helped me to be better with my time management and just really stay disciplined in everything that I have to do all throughout life.
Great. And although you're heading towards the pro circuit, you know where you're going.
Yes.
But academically, what are you doing? What are you studying?
I study sports medicine with a biology minor.
All right, cool.
So obviously that ties into tennis as well.
Yeah, it does. It
Yeah.
does. Actually, I just have a cousin who got her PhD in physiotherapy, sports physiotherapy.
Really?
So yeah, it's just, and she used to be a Bahamas junior high jumper.
Okay.
Dr. Celine Thompson, how you doing? But yeah, now you talked about some of the professionals that you've dealt with. What advice have they given you that's made your game better?
Honestly, they've just told me that, because obviously, like in a lot of sports, when you see those people on TV, you think, oh, they're like so much further than me. They may have like so much more weapons or so much more different aspects to their game that are just better than yours. But honestly, playing with them, and they basically tell me like it's literally just the little things. With tennis, when you reach a certain level, it's just like who could do the little things better. Like everybody could hit the ball at a certain speed. Like some might say DJ could hit the ball harder than someone who's top 10 in the world, but that doesn't matter at the end of the day because you have to actually execute what you're trying to do.
It's all the elements together.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's just that once I focus on those little things, they say I'd go like this, and that's what I've been doing over this summer actually.
Wow. Where do you guys practice here? I know you told me you went to Windsor, but where do you practice when you're here?
I still train in Albany.
Okay, so
Yeah.
well, hey,
Yeah.
there could be some very good sponsors there.
So
So you know,
and I train between Lifer Key Club and Paradise Island at the Atlantis Tennis Court.
that's great. Are you finding a lot of? I mean, obviously you guys are serious. Are you finding because you hear about the Davis Cup and all of that, and you told me that you know what you did there, but are you finding a lot of young Bahamians taking tennis seriously?
You or me?
Both of you.
You can go out
Honestly,
different.
I think tennis is falling off in the Bahamas a little bit,
Really?
to be honest. Like, even when me and DJ were growing up, like, you could see that the level compared to the guys who were probably in their late 20s, early 30s, you could see where the level dropped. Like, tournament sizes got smaller, and honestly, I don't know whether it's the support that's been put into the sport itself from, like, higher members in the sports community that actually drive certain sports, but you definitely could see that the level has been dropping. You don't really see as much people who stick with the sport for as long as someone like me and DJ have, and I don't know if it's the coaching, the shift in the coaches, or whether it's just the support given to the sport in general from the country.
You know, I mean, I can say this. I don't believe that we give professional athletes the kind of support they need at all. I mean, now I know, you watch the Olympics?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Botswana is a much richer country, so we can't really compare their
Yeah.
financial resources to ours. But it's going to be very interesting to see what Tobago gets
Yeah,
for his win.
yeah.
And then that silver medal, too, in the Olympics in the 4x4.
I actually just watched a video. They showed how everyone, when you got back in the country, like it looked like a concert, honestly.
Yeah.
The
I
amount
saw some pictures
the
of
amount of people.
that street party, man, I tell you.
And to me, that's crazy because I just saw one of the swimmers who actually swam in the Olympics for the Bahamas. I watched her come back home and
Renishka?
Renishka, it was Renishka, and she was there, and one of her friends came with a poster, and that was basically it. There was no big celebration, and I feel like that somebody like that, especially because she's young, she's still a collegiate athlete, people should
gotta support.
There should have
Yeah.
definitely been something there, maybe some junkin who outside waiting for something better than that.
Because I mean, at the end of the day, it's like you said, that's her first time. Like, it's not always just about the medal. Because when you don't show support to an athlete, like she made it to the Olympics, when you don't show support to someone who made a feat like that could honestly diminish a person's spirit if they don't have like full confidence in themselves.
Yes, sir.
And the thing is, you know, we tend to give you the attention once you get that medal.
Yes, sir.
But to get to that point, to
Point.
get that medal,
It's so tough.
You need the drive.
let's get back to your workout. You told me the hours, but what does your workout consist of? You said you play how many hours a day?
I play I have gym for around an hour, and then I play
What
tennis
are
on
you
the
doing in
court
the
for
gym?
about
Free
12
weights, machines, what?
Everything, honestly, agility, speed work, lifting, everything. Like, we'd start off with, obviously, warm up, get the body warm before you start. And then we go into some hand-eye coordination, like one hand over the eye, tossing a ball. And then it gradually gets smaller, like into about this size. And then we do like sprints from the ground. So I'd start on the ground and then a clap and then you go. So that helps with being light on your feet.
The kind of CrossFit training would be perfect for
Yes, exactly.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then, but at the same time, you also do extensive lifting. Like you have to be strong.
Oh yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Just for the endurance of
Yeah.
the actual game itself.
So it's like you have to find that perfect balance between being agile and also strength training, like being strong, because obviously you don't want to get too big because you still have to be quick on the court.
What about diet?
Yeah, you have to eat clean also.
And that means getting foods that Baineys don't usually eat? Is that what it means?
Yeah,
Exactly. That's exactly what that means.
If I've been in the food store today and almost passed out, so I could imagine what it has to be if you have to have, you know.
It does get tough, especially for someone like me who was in high school, because I would have to cook lunch the night before and take it to school, because at school then we just have the chicken and fries. Like the most healthy thing I probably would get at school is probably pasta. So some days I'd be eating 2 plates of pasta, just putting it down, because I know I have workout after school, I worked out before school, so I know I got to get those calories back in, just so that everything pays off, you know. But it's tough for sure trying to eat healthy, especially at this age and being in this environment as well, where you have peas and rice and all these fried foods. It does get tempting, but
So what you give yourself Sunday to go mash out eggs.
Sunday just
yeah, you know, Sunday dinner you can't escape those.
Can't miss Sunday dinner.
Now, do you do long distance running at all to support?
I am actually a dual sport athlete, so I ran cross country, BISS, I did the 5,000 this year. I finished second. The year before, I finished first. Ran the 1,500 this year and last year. Last year, I finished, I think, second as well last year in the 1,500. So I do a lot of long distance running. Sometimes I string MJ along to do some with me, and it's really fun.
It sounds like you don't like that too much.
He strung me along to BISS and I got forced.
Yeah, so yeah.
I mean,
He's like, we're like, if you do it, I'm going to do it. So that's exactly how it is, because waking up 5 o'clock in the morning isn't easy, and he strings me along for those, so I'll string him along for a run, and we just push each other, and we just want to see each other get better. So it's fun.
I think I'll correct you. Waking up is easy as getting out of bed that isn't.
That is true.
just don't go back to sleep.
Yeah, that is true.
I tell you, you know?
But definitely a lot of long distance.
You also, at this stage, mentioned the fact that you have a physiotherapist.
Yeah.
Right, so, I mean, how much does it cost at your stage, at your level, to keep you going? I mean, for you to keep doing what you have to do so you could get to the next level.
In general, like on the whole, or just physio?
Yeah.
Everything?
Everything. How much? I mean, there's a cost to it. Now, when you're in college, I guess the tennis program supports some of that, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, for both of you, right?
Yes, sir.
So, okay.
But does it get anywhere near what you? I mean, because how often you got to go to a physiotherapist?
I mean, for me, in order to keep my body healthy, I go around like every 2 weeks. But obviously, when I'm in school, you know, they have those services for us. But in terms of like actually excelling in the sport, like I was fortunate enough to get a scholarship where I didn't have to pay for school. In high school, I didn't have to pay for school, didn't have to pay for training. So I got that like gym workouts and stuff like that for nothing. But someone who has to pay, like it's extremely expensive to play tennis.
You got a ballpark figure you can throw out there for people so they could go.
I could give you a ballpark figure for like if you have to play a tournament, because you can't just train and not play tournaments. You have to
That's
go,
because you can't measure yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to go away and play tournaments. And like for the tournaments that I played, which are ITF under 18s, like you have to go to countries like Dominican Republic, you have to go to Jamaica, and you have to stay there for about 8 days. So you have to think about hotel, you have to think about food, tournament entry fee. You pop your racket, that's $25 a racket to get strong. And airfare, like one time I went to Mexico, the ticket was $3,000. That's only the ticket.
So go to Mexico?
That's only the ticket.
How you get to go? Which way you went?
Yeah, because you have to pay for yourself and your coach.
And the coach as well.
Oh, okay.
Because you can't. Because honestly, tennis is a sport where you have to do a lot of, like, you have to scope out your opponent, and obviously it's good to have someone with knowledge of how to do certain things like that. So you have to have a coach who could tell you like, okay, this is off in your game, you need to do this. Or your opponent plays like this, you need to do this. And you come up with a game plan, almost like how basketball players have a coach and they come up with different strategies for different people. And it's really expensive.
who trains you guys here?
I train with Philip Major, Marvin Roll, Kevin Major, and my dad, Dentry Watermore.
That's great. Well, and tell us a little bit about. We have to talk about Dentry Senior a little bit because his name was out there. And tell us about a little bit about his career and how that peaked, when it peaked.
Well, with my dad, I mean, I wasn't around, but
I'm sure he hasn't told you.
But no, really, we don't talk about that much tennis.
Really?
But I've heard stories from a lot of people. I've heard that he could have most definitely been a top 100 player in the world. I was told that he was one of the best players in the region. He won a lot of tournaments, beat a lot of the top guys in his era for sure. And he was a really exceptional player. He had scholarships to IMG schools like USC. He went to Everett Tennis Academy. So he could have definitely been one of the best Bahamian tennis players, I feel like. But some things just don't work out the way we planned them out to.
And he's coaching now.
And now he is coaching.
At the collegiate level, or
no? He coaches.
Professionals.
No. So he at one point he was coaching some of the top juniors in the U.S., but then he came back home and now he works at the Life Key Club.
Okay, let's talk about physiotherapy again, because we don't think about these things all the time. Because really, and I can't remember who it was, somebody in the Olympics really made it hit home again to me. It's more about injury prevention than it is repairing injuries.
Yeah.
So really, you really have to, after almost every major game, you got to get a checkout.
Yes.
Wow.
So with some of the tournaments here, so when we have our ITF tournaments here, that they do provide on-site physio. So you're able to use the physio basically, so they cover the physio with like your tournament fees or whatever. So you're able to go to the physio when you play like the ITF tournaments and it's free of charge. And that's perfect. But in terms of like when you're training all year round, I think you should go to the physio at least once, twice every 2 weeks or so, just to make sure that your body's in top shape to just perform, because tennis is really intensive on the body.
And you have one, for the most part, assigned physiotherapist.
For me, yeah.
Now, people who just have ordinary injuries, I mean, that's a couple $100 the first just to get,
Yes.
So if you got to do that regularly,
Yeah.
wow. How are you looking at funding? Because I know you have to be planning that. And this is a lot to do, because you're working on academics, because you can't afford to let that slide.
Exactly.
You're working on getting your training in, and all of the other things that come with that. You're looking at how you can afford the right foods and all this. And then, in a way, you have to kind of manage yourself. And is that what's happening now, or do you both have managers at this point?
Basically parents.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing.
But in terms of funding, I think both of our parents do a good job making the sacrifices that they need to make sure that we get to where we want, and to make sure that we get to where we, more importantly, need to be with the sport. And also, I would say that the BLT also, so the Tennis Association here, so for the past few years, they do give us some type of grant for being like some of the top juniors in the country and representing the country and national team. So we do get a little stipend here and there, which actually does help with the development of our games.
But no government support financially?
So
do you get anything?
I think so that would be the government, because I think that
the BLTA the government gives it to the
BLTA.
them,
and then they distribute it to the top juniors. So there is some type of financial support from the government in terms of the development of that.
But in terms of making like a professional athlete with that money is not.
No, it's tough to make it with that.
Like, I'd say that's not even, the money we get is not even enough for probably about 5 tournaments a year.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
Michael and Dentry, we got to take a quick break. We're going to be back with more. We've got 2 young tennis players, one who's going pro, one who's probably going into sports management. The stories are interesting. Stay with us.